difference between a warrior and a worrier. One fights every day, the other waits for some day. Consistency isn't just action, it's alchemy. It turns the ordinary into the extraordinary, the weak into the unstoppable. The first time you throw a punch, it's sloppy. Your wrist bends, your breath is off. Your knuckles land wrong, it's embarrassing. But you throw it again and again. And one day, without fanfare, your fist cuts through the air like a blade, not because you got stronger, but because your body remembers. That's the invisible fist. Not the one that knocks someone out in the movies, but the one that's been forged in the quiet, in the repetition, in the hours no one will ever see. Think about the old man at the park doing Tai Chi every morning. Rain or shine, his movements are slow, deliberate, like he's pushing against the weight of the world. People walk past him, barely noticing. But if you watch long enough, you realize his hands aren't just moving. They're carving space. They're rewriting his body's history. You think this is just exercise? No. This is a man fighting time itself, one breath at a time. Or the girl in the library, the one with the stacks of notebooks, filling pages with equations that look like another language. She's been there every day for months. No applause, no trophies. Just the scratch of her pencil, the turning of pages. Then one day the numbers click, the code cracks, and what seemed impossible is now just obvious. That's the invisible fist. The quiet, relentless work that makes genius look easy. We live in a world that loves the big moments, the knockout, the championship, the viral success. But the truth, those moments are just the flash of a blade that's been sharpened in the dark. The fighter doesn't win because of one punch. He wins because of the 1,000 punches he threw when no one was counting. The writer doesn't land a bestseller because of a sudden spark of inspiration. She lands it because she showed up every damn day, even when the words tasted like ash. I'll start tomorrow. That's the lie that kills more dreams than failure ever could. Tomorrow is a ghost. It's always just out of reach. The only day that matters is today, this hour, this minute, this rep, this sentence, this step. The invisible fist isn't about grand gestures. It's about the decision to do the thing, again and again. Look at your hands, right now. Those hands could build something, or they could stay still. The choice isn't about talent. It's about time. The invisible fist doesn't ask for motivation. It doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It just moves and keeps moving until the world has no choice but to bend around it. So here's the question. What's your repetition? What's the thing you'll do long after the excitement fades? Because that's where the real fight is. Not in the first punch, but in the 10,000th. Not in the idea, but in the daily grind of making it real. The invisible fist doesn't shine. It doesn't brag. It just works. And sooner or later, it changes everything. Now go. Sharpen it. The first drop means nothing. It hits the sand and disappears without a trace. No fanfare. No grand design. Just a single, silent moment of surrender to gravity. But then another falls. And another. And years later, there's a canyon where the earth used to be solid. That's how oceans are born, not by some cataclysmic event, but by the relentless patience of water that refused to stop falling. You want proof. Look at the old man who walks the same path every morning before dawn. Left foot, right foot, breathing steady. He's not running marathons, just putting one foot in front of the other. But after 30 years, His heart beats like a drum, strong and sure, while men half his age gasp climbing stairs. You think fitness happens in the gym? No. It happens in the 1,000 mornings when you lace up shoes instead of hitting snooze. Or the woman learning guitar, fingers raw from steel strings. She doesn't play concerts. Just 15 minutes each night after work. At first, just noise. Then one day, magic. Her hands know the chords before her mind does. The crowd hears a song. They don't see the choruses, the frustration, the nights she wanted to quit. That's how skill works. Not in leaps, but in the accumulation of moments no one will ever applaud. We're addicted to the big splash, the lottery win, the overnight success, the viral moment. But the truth, the ocean doesn't care about your splash. It's too busy being ancient. Built one drop at a time by rivers that never doubted their destination. The millionaire wasn't built in a day. The masterpiece wasn't painted in one sitting. The legend wasn't written in a chapter. I don't have time. Another lie. You don't need time, you need moments. The writer who pens one paragraph during lunch. The student who reviews flashcards on the bus. The entrepreneur who sketches ideas while waiting for coffee. Small drops, insignificant alone, unstoppable together. Your bank account grows one deposit at a time. Your knowledge builds one page at a time. Your relationships deepen one conversation at a time. There are no quantum leaps, just the steady accumulation of choices, so small they seem meaningless. Until they're not. Until you look back and see an ocean where there used to be desert. The magic isn't in the size of your effort. It's in your refusal to let the drops stop falling. Not when you're tired, not when you're bored, not when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching. So here's the truth they won't tell you. You're already building your ocean. Every choice, every repetition, every time you show up when it would be easier to quit. The drops are falling right now. The question is, what are they creating? A puddle that evaporates by noon, or something that will outlast you? The Grand Canyon didn't debate whether it was worth carving. The Pacific doesn't second guess its tides. They just keep going, drop by drop, wave by wave, the same way your future is being built, by what you do today, and tomorrow, and all the days after that. Now get to work. The ocean isn't going to fill itself. You wake up and your bed feels like quicksand. The alarm screams, but your body screams louder. Just 5 more minutes. You'll crush it tomorrow. And just like that, the myth of motivation claims another victim. Watch the boxer at 5 a.m. when the world sleeps. His eyelids weigh a ton. His muscles scream. There's no crowd cheering, no trophy waiting. Just a man and his shadow dancing in the dim gym light. You think he's motivated. Bullshit. He's out of fuel like everyone else. The difference. He knows motivation is a fair weather friend that always leaves when you need it most. The writer staring at a blank page knows this truth too. No lightning bolt of inspiration strikes. Just the cold sweat of starting anyway. Fingers hit keys not because some magical force moves them, but because she showed up. Again, waiting for motivation is like waiting for the ocean to part before you swim. You'll die thirsty on the shore. Real life doesn't happen in highlight reels. It happens in the grunt work no one posts about. The accountant studying tax codes on his birthday. The single mom memorizing medical terms after double shifts. The kid practicing free throws until streetlights flicker. No motivational speeches. No cheering sections. Just the quiet understanding that discipline outlives dopamine. I'll work when I feel inspired. The battle cry of amateurs. Professionals know better. The sculptor chips stone even when his hands ache. The programmer debugs code through frustration headaches. The nurse takes vitals with care, even on her worst day. They've made peace with the truth feelings are liars. Action is the only truth. Motivation follows momentum, not the other way around. The first rep feels like lifting a mountain. The 10th, just wait. The 100th, part of you now. That's the alchemy nobody talks about. Movement creates energy, not the reverse. The great con, society sold you a lie. That fire in your belly needs constant stoking, that you should feel ready. The warriors know better. They step into the arena with lead in their shoes and still move forward. Because waiting to feel like it is a luxury they can't afford. Look at nature. The river doesn't feel like flowing today. It flows because that's what rivers do. The sun doesn't debate rising. It burns because that's its nature. Your best work won't come when you're pumped up. It'll come because you decided to work regardless. So here's the antidote to the motivation myth. Start small. But start now. Hate running. Walk 1 block. Can't write, scribble 1 sentence. Overwhelmed. Do 1 push-up. The magic isn't in the size of the action, but in the decision to act against your feelings. The next time your brain whispers, wait for the right mood, laugh in its face. Moods are fickle. Legends are built on days when every cell screamed no, but they moved anyway. Motivation is the match. Discipline is the engine. And you're the machine that keeps running long after the spark fades. Now get to work. The world's waiting for people who don't need permission from their feelings. The first time you try anything, you're a disaster. Your hands fumble. Your timing's off. You look like a newborn giraffe on ice. That's not failure. That's the starting point everyone shares but quickly forgets. The secret. The masters didn't skip this phase. They just refused to stay there. Watch a street vendor flip pancakes in Shanghai. His wrist flicks like it's got its own brain. The batter arcs perfectly every time. What you don't see, the thousands of mangled pancakes he tossed in the gutter first. You think this is natural talent. Please, this is repetition so deep it's in his bones now. Or the barber in Istanbul who shaves faces with a straight razor while cracking jokes. 1 wrong move and it's blood on the collar. But his hand doesn't shake. Not because he's brave. Because he's done this dance 10,000 times before. Muscle memory doesn't care about nerves. It only cares about hours logged. The pianist's fingers flying across keys didn't start that way. First came the scales, the drills, the mind-numbing exercises until her hands moved without permission. Practice makes perfect is a lie. Perfect doesn't exist. But practice sure as hell makes permanent. We worship naturals. The kid who nails the 3-pointer first try. The singer who belts perfect notes untouched by training. Here's the truth they don't tell you. Even naturals plateau fast without repetition. The real killers. They're the ones who fall in love with the grind. I'm just not good at this. The coward's way out. Skill isn't born, it's built. Brick by boring brick. The chef's knife skills. Counted in bandages. The comedian's timing. Measured in bombed sets. The programmer's clean code. Buried under mountains of errors. Repetition isn't glamorous. It's showing up when the newness wears off. When the excitement fades. When everyone else quits. That's where the separation happens. In the lonely hours where you're not improving, just maintaining. Until one day, without warning, the thing that was hard becomes easy. Then the new hard appears, and the cycle begins again. The graveyard of potential is full of people who misunderstood repetition. They thought doing something 20 times was enough. The greats. They know 20 is just the warm-up. 200 starts getting interesting. 2,000, now we're talking. Your brain fights repetition at first. It screams boredom. It invents distractions. It whispers you've got this already. Don't listen. The magic happens when repetition becomes ritual. When the activity stops being something you do and starts being something you are. The samurai didn't become deadly by reading scrolls. The surgeon didn't master stitches from textbooks. The baker didn't learn dough by watching videos. They all bled their way to mastery through repetition's brutal baptism. So next time you suck at something, smile. You're exactly where you should be. The question isn't whether you'll improve. It's whether you'll stick around long enough for repetition to work its silent magic. Skill isn't grown in hothouses. It's forged in the daily fire of showing up, of doing it again, and again, and again, until what once felt foreign becomes home. Now pick up your weapon of choice. The road to mastery is paved with repetitions. Start laying yours today. Every storm starts with a whisper, a single breeze no stronger than a child's sigh. But keep adding wind to wind, and suddenly roofs are flying. That's the compound effect of chaos, small, relentless forces stacking until they reshape the world. Watch the addict take his first hit. Just one. Just today, no big deal. But each, just once, piles onto the last until one morning he wakes up and doesn't recognize the face in the mirror. You think rock bottom happens in one fall. No. It's 1,000 tiny surrenders no one notices until it's too late. Now flip it, the chain smoker crushing his last pack. Day one sucks. Day two's worse. But each craving resisted makes the next slightly easier. Until months later, he runs upstairs without wheezing and realizes the war was won in those small daily battles no one saw. Chaos works both ways. The student skipping just one study session. The entrepreneur putting off just one sales call. The artist skipping just one day of practice. These aren't isolated choices. They're bricks in a wall that eventually cages potential. It's just one mistake. The devil's favorite lie. 1 becomes 10 becomes normal, becomes identity. But here's the secret, the same math works in reverse. 1 healthy meal won't change your body. 1 workout won't transform your health. 1 saved dollar won't build wealth. But stack them. Suddenly you're unrecognizable. The alcoholic doesn't become sober in a dramatic moment. It's saying no to the first drink. Then the second. Then the 1,000th. The millionaire isn't made by one deal. It's saving when others spend, investing when others party. Compounding isn't finance. It's the physics of human transformation. Your life right now. It's the sum of these tiny choices repeating. The extra hour scrolling versus reading. The fast food versus cooking. The snooze button versus the morning run. None matter alone. Together they write your future. Chaos doesn't care about your plans. It's always working. Either for you or against you. The question is, which direction are your daily choices compounding? Because while you're waiting for some big moment to change everything, your ordinary days are quietly building your destiny. The revolutionary part, you get to choose which chaos compounds. The anxiety you feed grows. The courage you exercise strengthens. The knowledge you consume accumulates. There are no neutral actions, only seeds being planted for future harvests. So check your trajectory. Not where you are today, but where your current habits are taking you in 5 years. Because that's where you're headed whether you like it or not. The compound effect doesn't ask permission. It just calculates in the background while you're busy making excuses. Now here's the good news. The same force that digs holes can build mountains. Start today. Not big. Just consistent. Let chaos work for you instead of against you. The storm is coming either way. You get to decide whether it destroys you or carries you forward. Pick up your first brick. The first punch always hurts the most. Your ribs crack. Your vision blurs. Your knees beg to buckle. But here's the secret no one tells you. If you keep getting hit, something strange happens. Your bones thicken. Your muscles tighten. Your mind learns to float through the pain. What tried to break you instead forged you into something unbreakable. That's the anti-fragile magic of consistency. Watch the old fisherman hauling nets in the Arctic cold. His hands are leather, his face carved by wind. The storms that send tourists running are just Tuesday to him. You think this is endurance? Look closer. His body has been sculpted by hardship into something that thrives where others freeze, or the single mother working 2 jobs. The first month crushed her. The 6th month she moves differently. Faster, sharper, turning stress into fuel. The crisis that would shatter her neighbors, she handles it before coffee. Not because she's special. Because life hit her so many times, she developed colluses on her soul. I can't handle this is the lie of the uninitiated. The truth, you can handle anything. After you've been forced to handle it 100 times. The anxiety attack that once hospitalized you becomes manageable. The rejection letter that ruined your week becomes motivation. The failure that crushed your spirit becomes data. Fragile things shatter under pressure. Robust things survive. But the anti-fragile, they feed on chaos. The comedian bombing night after night until hecklers become fuel. The entrepreneur pivoting through bankruptcies until failure tastes like breakfast. The artist painting over ruined canvases until mistakes become style. Your grandparents knew this. They called it grit. Modern softness calls it burnout. But the steel in your bones knows better. Every morning you choose comfort over challenge, you're not protecting yourself. You're making yourself brittle. The bodybuilder doesn't get strong by lifting the same weight forever. The mind doesn't grow by solving the same problems. Anti-fragility demands increasing resistance. That's why the best warriors seek storms instead of shelters. Why the sharpest minds chase problems instead of distractions. Look at nature. Forests need wildfires to regenerate. Muscles require microtears to grow. Immune systems demand germs to strengthen. Your potential works the same way. It doesn't bloom in safety nets. It erupts through repeated exposure to what scares you. So next time life hits you, don't just survive it, study it. Let the blow teach you where to thicken your armor, the deadline that crushed you. Train for tighter timelines. The public speech that choked you. Practice daily. The betrayal that broke you. Learn its patterns. Because here's the brutal truth. The world hits everyone. The difference is what you do between punches. The fragile crumble. The robust endure. But the anti-fragile, they turn each impact into a whetstone and sharpen themselves against it. Now ask yourself, when life throws its next punch, will you be glass or steel being tempered? The forge is hot. Step inside. Here's how we end this, not with a whisper, but with a quake that rattles bones and rewires brains. Listen close, because this isn't just advice. It's a war cry for your soul. You stand at the edge of greatness every single day. The bridge between you and everything you've ever wanted. It's built with the bricks of showing up. Not when it's easy. Not when you feel like it. But when every cell in your body screams to quit. That's where legends are born. Someday is a graveyard of dreams. The greatest tragedy isn't failure, it's the untapped potential rotting in the hearts of people who waited for the perfect moment. Newsflash. Perfect is a myth. The dojo is now. The canvas is blank. The weights are cold. Start where you are. They'll tell you to be realistic. Translation. Shrink to fit their expectations. But since when did reality ever bow to logic? The skyscraper was once a sketch. The symphony was once silence. Your future. It's just a series of todays stacked with relentless consistency. Here's the raw truth. They're too scared to tell you. You're already in pain. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Choose your poison. But know this: discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. Look at your hands. These hands can build empires or dig graves. The difference isn't talent, it's tenacity. The kind that grinds through resistance like a diamond through glass. The kind that treats failure as tuition, not tragedy. I'm not ready is the anthem of the mediocre. Ready is a fairy tale, the warriors. They leap before they're ready and figure it out mid-air. The magic happens outside the safety net. Always has. Always will. Remember, the ocean doesn't apologize for its waves. The sun doesn't ask permission to rise, and you don't need validation to dominate your craft. Greatness doesn't knock. It kicks down the door when you've stacked enough days of unglamorous work. So when exhaustion whispers, stop, whisper back, watch me. When doubt mutters, you can't. Laugh and say, already am. The world isn't changed by the talented. It's changed by the obsessed. The ones who bleed their art even when no one's watching. This is your call to arms. Not to fight the world, but to outlast it, to outwork it, to rise each time life swings its best shot at your jaw. Because here's the secret no motivational guru will tell you: consistency isn't a strategy. It's a superpower. The next chapter of your life isn't written in the stars. It's written in your daily grind, in the reps no one sees, in the pages no one reads, in the dark hours where champions are forged. So go, be the storm, be the exception. Be the person future generations whisper about in awe. Not because you were gifted, but because you were relentless. Not because it was easy, but because you refused to quit. The world makes way for those who know where they're going. So walk like you own the ground beneath you. Burn so bright they have no choice but to witness your glow. This ends now. Not because we're done, but because it's time for you to begin. The arena awaits. Step in and start swinging. History remembers those who refuse to be forgotten. What will it say about you?